Just going to have another look at Sundance. Okay. Basically what we've got here is the overall chart from last week, so I'm just going to refresh a few things. We had repeating patterns where this one here is repeated a bit more than this, but you can see it repeated back in here, repeated up in there. Okay, it's repeated in here. Okay, and it repeated here again. Okay, so we're just going to bear that in mind. What I've done here is I've just marked on the chart, this is the overall fib, and this is the 61.8%. And I've just marked it here, overall fib 61.8%, and it comes out at 37 cents, which is quite interesting because this chart's starting to get something that is getting a little bit spooky actually. But what I'll do now is I'm just going to zoom in and have a look at a few more other things here. What we have here is we drew a fib, okay, from this high basically in there, and that threw up a target for us. Now it slightly went through the target and it's thrown up another target up in here, and that's how you can get a rough idea, okay, of basically what is happening there as well. This here is also a fib projection taken from the bottom, and it threw up a 161 basically in the same spot, so you can say that we might be onto something there. Okay, so just want to go in here and have a look a lot more closely, and quite a few people have asked me, is this a cup and handle? And at first I was thinking, well, it's probably a bit short, and I went and checked all the rules on cup and handles and everything, and this one's about 3 days short. They take about a month to 6 months, and this one is just 3 days short, and I wasn't quite sure about using the long tail of the candle as well. But anyway, as it's stacking up, it is basically very much looking like one. Now what I'd be thinking here, we're close to the bollies, and this is a little bit of a spinning top on this candle here. Okay, so it just might pull back, retest this area here, which was the target price, okay, around about 28 3/4. If you can get that, you're lucky. It may so just test these little closes in here as well. Okay, it might just retest them. Okay, or it just might retest the cup at the top of the cup, and go again, because cup and handles are pretty bullish when they get going, but I wasn't totally convinced that that was one, but it certainly is trying very hard to do that. Okay, now if we were to measure from the top of the cup to the bottom of it, and then have from the breakout point, that would give our next target, okay, and that would be up here, remarkably enough, at, oops, I'll just put that up there so you can see it, at that overall 61.8, okay, which is around about 37, okay, 37 and a half, okay. Another thing to bear in mind here, and I'll just go and get it, this is another repeating range, which repeated before and repeated here. Okay, so on that run it repeated that repeating range. Okay, and then if we put it here from the bottom of that there to the run, it goes to 37. So 37 seems to be saying something. Whether it how quickly it does that, yeah, is going to be another story anyway. So what I'll do is I'll just looking at the indicators now, and this is the MACD, okay, and you can see here it's had a top. It tends to top out around here in the past, except for when it went straight through it and then it came straight back down. Whether it's going to top out here again now, I don't know. And if it does, I think it probably would be temporarily, but I think what it'll probably do is go straight through it. If we were to have a look at the chart and just see in between these two here of what it actually was doing, then it'll give you some ideas. Okay, so that's in between there and in between there. There's a pretty much a flat range. Okay, but now we've gone into bull mode. Okay, that was the big run up one. Okay, and now it's turning to go again. Okay, so that's something I'll be keeping my eye on. Okay, wasn't a bad volume for a Friday. Okay, the volumes on the Thursday before were good. Okay, so and it's doing some really solid volumes in here now, so it's sort of telling us that the stock has hit basically a bull mode again. Okay, this down here is the DEMA. DEMA's currently running about 65, then go to 70, 80. I've seen them go to 85. I think this stock's actually done 85 on a weekly before on a DEMA. Okay, so that's pretty good. Okay, this is a short entry trigger. Okay, so that's just been triggered there, and that would have been on the Thursday, I'd say. So it's a short entry, and the DEMA's been triggered again as well. And by the way, if you just look at that indicator there, there's your cup, and there's your little handle there at the moment as well. There's something interesting, might not mean much. Yeah, that trigger was triggered just right in here for these three candles on the way up there. What I'm going to do is just have a look at the weekly chart. Back again with the weekly chart. The thing that we spoke about the other week when I did this, the first video, we were talking about a golden cross that could happen on the weekly. We'll notice now that the 7 period moving average has gone through the 200. Okay, so it's underway. So this thing could really start smoking. Okay, the thing is a little bit of concern though, that candle here, unless we have a higher open, okay, and a higher close next week, it'll become like an inverted hammer or a hammer, but at the moment it's looking a little bit like a hanged man, so it could even possibly take a week off here. But if you have a look at the indicators, and because of this golden cross underway, I wouldn't really be thinking so. So we'll just have a quick look indicator wise. And what we see here again is a MACD has broken up, okay, through all those little tops in there. So she's up and away, and she's been up this high before, so she can still got more room to move. The Scoth is having another crack at the top. Look at it's done in the past when it's done a big run. That was that first big run. It can hang around here for ages. And there's that 85, or close to it, on the DEMA I was talking about before. And if you have a look at the DEMA now, the DEMA's here it is in full. Okay, the DEMA on the weekly is just starting to run. It's just, you know, hasn't quite hit 60 yet, and it's got more to go. And if it repeats that 80, this thing could really be going ballistic, is what you would be thinking. Also short entry, and that's not to enter into a short, that is a short entry into a long, okay, has been triggered again on the weekly. So, you know, sort of basically to round up a little bit, I think she's looking pretty bullish for Sundance at the moment. I'll just pause this and we'll just have another quick look at the daily chart again. Yeah, just rounding up again, we'll see if our target gets met from our cup and handle, and see if this range repeats here. Okay, basically the one. So yeah, looking good for Sundance, and I've run out of time, so I better go.